Okay, so Hugin's the first one we're going to look at. If we open up my images folder here, we can have a look. And so we've taken two photos, they're next to each other, and we want to sort of join them up like that. That's the kind of thing that it can do. We see they don't quite line up properly there, but the program allows us to do it. The other thing that we can do is we can see that this one here, you probably can't see it because it's pretty low, shrunk down a fair bit, but it's a bit distorted by the angle that I took it from. We're going to use Hugin to sort of stretch it back out to something close to normal proportions. So we'll open these first two images, which are the ones that go side by side. And in the camera and lens dialog, you can actually load from the image itself, if it was taken with a digital camera, the information of what type of lens it had, which allows it to automatically work out what sort of distortion is going to be in the image itself. So we jump over so that we can see both images on the screen here at once. And what we're going to do here is we're going to select points that match on both images, so just to give it an idea of which bits overlap. And when we click on one side, we only need to be fairly approximate. With our second click, it automatically works out where the other part is. But if we miss for some reason, we get a little error, and we can move back over here, click again. We don't have to be spot on with that. We hit the fine tune button and it works it all out for us. So I'll just go in and add a few more. It's probably difficult, or you might be able to see there, but the angle of that building is on the right hand side it's angled down that way, on the other side it's angled upwards. You can see there as well, but it'll stretch and distort the images so that they overlap and match properly. So now we've got a few control points there. We'll calculate the field of view, which works out how big the image should be based upon what kind of distortion it's going to have to squish the image into. Then we'll give it a sensible size, because the default height's probably a bit big for what we want to work with here. Go over to the optimizer here, click optimize now, press OK, and we'll go up into the preview mode here. And when we're first going to preview, we'll see that half of the image isn't actually displayed, so we'll hit center and we'll reorient it. And the first thing that we notice here is that the horizon is a bit skew-if. So we go out of the preview and we go back to the images tab here, and we'll have a look here, and in the anchor column we've got one that's got AC there, and we'll click adjust the anchor spot, and this will give us the ability to work out where the center of the image is actually going to be, so we can control the horizontal and vertical alignment of the image. So we just move that X around, use the right click mouse button to rotate it, and we're going to make that main street there vertical, and we're going to line up the horizon as well. So we're happy with that. Go back over to the stitcher, recalculate the field of view because the entire image is rotated a little bit, and then we hit optimize now again. Go back to our preview, click the update button, and there we go. The other thing that we notice here is that there's a very, very definite, very visible seam there that we're going to want to get rid of. So when we go back over to the Stitcher tab, see down the bottom here that we've chosen TIFF as the image format, and we've enabled soft blending, and what that soft blending does is gets rid of that seam. So we'll give it a name, click save, go make ourselves a sandwich, and now if we just bring up our sandwich, yeah. Okay, we can see there's our image there, and if we zoom in, we'll see that that ugly seam that we would have had running down there is pretty much all gone. So there we go, that's what this program does. You can do a lot more complex stuff with it. You can do multiple rows of images horizontally and vertically. A lot more complex stuff than what I've gone into there, but I just sort of want to do a brief look at what it does. So we'll go in, we'll have a look at what we'd want to do if we want to do some perspective correction. Got another image of Montreal here, and we can see that the angle I've taken the picture at this particular building here is looks a little bit crooked. So I'll pick 2 points that I know are in a straight line, and I'll add them. We can see there under alignment it says it's a vertical line. If it picks the wrong one, we can change it manually. And we'll pick another one here, probably another vertical one down the other side of this glass building here. Now that error message that we're getting is because I've still got auto fine tune turned on, so we'll turn that off and add that one in, another vertical line. Do a horizontal line this time across the top of this building here, and we can click there and we can drag it around to adjust it to be where we want. I'll add in another vertical one along this building here. It's difficult to tell, but this actual building is crooked in real life anyway, so it sort of leans away from the street. We'll add that one in. So right on the edge of the screen, that one's really angled inwards, so we can straighten that one up as well. And I'm going to have to think about what I'm doing next. Just go over and calculate the new field of view. Change the height again. Go back into the optimizer. Click the preview. Update. Center. And suddenly we'll see that what was leaning inwards is now looking a little bit straighter. But we can see that that stonework building there is a little bit funny looking here. So what we'll do is we'll take out that other control point. One thing that you can do is you can put too many control points in and suddenly the image is being squished a little bit too much, and it's easier to just take them out and let the computer put an even balance between the distortion in. So if we hit update, see it doesn't quite look as crazy as it did a minute ago. Okay, we'll leave this one on JPEG because we don't need to do any of the blending, and we'll save that one as well. This doesn't take anywhere near as long, obviously, because it doesn't need to add two images together. Now we'll open up that one as well and just have a look at how it looks. If you had this image, if you really had this image, as I do, you probably wouldn't bother straightening it up, but it's a good example of what you can do with this application. So we'll open up the original, just get a bit of an idea of the difference there. So yeah, that's what we can do with Hugin.